After her trip, my wife started hiding her phone, not dramatically, not enough for anyone else to notice, but enough for me. Because when you spend years with someone, you notice the little things immediately. The quick screen turns, the shorter replies, the sudden need for privacy where there never used to be any. Her name was Sana. We'd been married for 7 years, and before that trip, none of this existed. Her phone used to sit anywhere, on the kitchen counter, on the couch beside me, unlocked half the time, without hesitation, without tension, because people who feel safe usually don't behave carefully. Then came the trip, a 4-day girls' getaway. Something she had been excited about for weeks, talking about hotels, sending screenshots, laughing with her friends late at night while planning everything. And honestly, I was happy for her. She deserved time away. At least that's what I believed until she came home. The first thing I noticed wasn't the phone, it was her energy. Different, distracted, like mentally she hadn't fully come back. "How was the trip?" I asked when she walked in. "It was fun," she replied. "Just that. Fun. No stories, no excitement, no. You should have seen this." And somehow that bothered me more than it should have. Because people talk about experiences they enjoy, but she didn't want to talk about this one at all. Over the next few days, things became stranger. Not openly bad, just distant. More time on her phone, more moments where she smiled at messages, then immediately locked the screen. More situations where she angled the phone away slightly when I walked near her. Small things, but small things become patterns, and patterns become impossible to ignore. First, I blamed myself. Maybe I was overthinking. Maybe I was imagining tension that didn't exist. Because when you love someone, you try to protect the relationship from your own doubts. But eventually, reality becomes louder than excuses. One night, we were sitting on the couch together, or at least physically together. Emotionally, she felt miles away. Her phone buzzed beside her. She picked it up instantly, smiled slightly, then locked the screen the moment I glanced over. And that's when something inside me finally stopped pretending. Not anger, clarity. Pure clarity. Because normal behavior doesn't need hiding. "You okay?" she asked suddenly. I looked at her calmly. "Yeah." But I think she already knew. Because people can feel when your silence changes, and mine had. That night I couldn't sleep. Not because of jealousy, because of the distance, because the woman beside me suddenly felt guarded, careful, like she was protecting something or someone. The next morning, things felt even more tense. She barely looked at me during breakfast, barely spoke. And every few minutes she checked her phone again. Then finally, that evening, everything changed. We were sitting in the living room quietly. The TV was on, but neither of us was watching it. Her phone buzzed again. She grabbed it quickly, too quickly, smiled at the screen, then turned it away from me, and this time I didn't ignore it. I looked directly at her and said, "Unlock it." Silence. Immediate. Heavy. Her entire body froze, not dramatically, but completely. "What?" she whispered. I stayed calm. "Your phone. Unlock it." And suddenly the room felt different, because that wasn't a casual request anymore. That was a moment, a line, a truth standing directly between us. "Why?" she asked carefully. I leaned back slightly. Because people with nothing to hide usually don't hide things. Silence again, longer this time. And the longer she stayed silent, the louder the answer became. "You don't trust me?" she asked softly. Interesting question, because she didn't say no. She didn't laugh it off. She didn't unlock the phone. She questioned my trust instead. And that told me everything. "I trusted you before you started acting like this," I replied calmly. Her eyes shifted away immediately. That small movement said more than words ever could. "You're overreacting," she whispered. I nodded slowly. "Maybe." "Then unlock it." Silence again, heavy, unavoidable, because now there were only two options. Unlock it or don't. And every second she hesitated made the truth clearer. "I can explain," she said quietly. That sentence hit harder than anything else. Because explanations only appear when there's something to explain. I looked at her carefully. "I didn't ask for an explanation. I asked you to unlock it." Her breathing changed instantly, faster, uneven. And for the first time that night, she looked afraid. Not of me, of what this moment meant. "I just think couples deserve privacy," she said. I almost smiled. Not because it was funny, because it was predictable. Privacy isn't the same as secrecy. I replied calmly. And you know the difference. That line broke her composure completely. Tears filled her eyes instantly, but even then, she still didn't unlock the phone. And honestly, that was the loudest answer I had ever received. "You already made up your mind about me," she whispered. I shook my head slowly. "No. You made it for me the moment unlocking your phone became harder than losing my trust." Silence. Complete silence. Because there was no argument left after that. No defense. No explanation. Just truth sitting there between us, final, heavy, real. "I didn't think it would go this far," she admitted quietly. I looked at her for a long moment, then answered honestly, "I don't think you realized how far away you already were." That broke her completely. She started crying softly, but by then something inside me had already gone quiet. Not emotionally dead, just clear. Because clarity changes everything. I stood up slowly, grabbed my keys from the table, and headed toward the door. "Where are you going?" she asked through tears. I paused for a second, then answered calmly, "To spend some time somewhere I don't have to beg for honesty." And with that I walked out. Because sometimes the loudest truth in a relationship isn't what someone says, it's what they refuse to show you. And once silence starts answering questions, the relationship is already changing, whether either person admits it or not.